it's really freaking cool. It's like every Moxie user, if you own a specific new creator coin called Moxie AI, you get to deploy your own personal AI agent. And think about your personal AI agent. It's like a terminal inside a Moxie website, and
Yeah.
soon have it in other places as well. So it'll be within, let's say, kind of Frames V2. It'll have its own app and stuff. But think about it's almost like a chat GPT that has specifically around a kind of crypto and AI. So things that your AI agent can do for you, the things that it knows everything about you in terms of your tweets, your casts, your on-chain portfolios, your trades. It has a wallet that you control with it that can make trades on your behalf. Wake up every morning, say, hey, tell me what's going on today on X. It summarizes everyone I follow. It can tell me, what's the buzz on Farcaster. It can tell me what people that I follow are trading, give me insights. It can give me kind of like basically,
and then brain.
Exactly,
brain
right.
Integrated with the blockchain.
Exactly. And what we did is we built this in a way where, so we call it like social alpha. Like we basically built this in a way where the more creator coins you own, the more social alpha you can get, right? So there's a base level of analysis that you can get on anyone. But if you want to get like deeper analysis, so if I want to say, follow all of your kind of on-chain transactions, analyze your portfolio, and kind of like auto trade whenever you buy something, I need to own your coin in order to do so. So now I have a reason why I should buy your coin.
Hello, friends. I just finished a recording with Jason Goldberg, who is the co-founder of Moxie Protocol. Jason was in the podcast 6 months ago, and we had a great catch-up about Moxie Protocol and the intersection between on-chain social finance and AI. They are shipping some new features that are very exciting regarding AI agents and different skills you can build on top of these agents, and the creator tokens are integrated. We also had a chat about a previous company he founded called Fab, which at some point was the fastest growing company in the world. Thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you enjoy the episode. Hi, Jason. So great to have you back on the podcast.
Hey, thanks so much. Really happy to be back here. It's cool to kind of like come back a few months after our first conversation and kind of catch up on how things have been.
Yeah, I remember when we recorded the first episode, I think Moxie was 1 month old or 40 days old.
Yeah.
And you guys have been shipping a lot. You have been creating a lot of the stuff. And I think it's a good time to catch up into the whole process and where Moxie is right now. So maybe can you tell us a bit how has the project evolved over the last 6 months?
Yeah. So we launched Moxie on the 29th of July, and that's like almost 7 months ago, right? It's been an amazing journey. I mean, look, the concepts behind Moxie, we started working on all the way back in 2016. I mean, really, our team, we thought about in 2016, how do we kind of reinvent the creator economy? How do we kind of use decentralized technology in order to change the economics and fundamental kind of relationships between creators and their fans? Along the way of that journey, we obviously, a lot of things have happened over the last 8-9 years, and the technology's gotten better and better. And I'd say, we specifically, our team the company that I work for is Airstack, and we've been working at the intersection of especially identity and social and on-chain, really, really hardcore for the last 3 years. And, we were the first to do crypto meets AI, like searching of blockchains. Airstack was like renowned for this. So like you basically could search using AI of like, say like, show me everything that, Jason traded today on Base, or, find, what tokens are in common between these Farcaster users, whatever it might be. And we went really deep into that whole space, and, way ahead of the market. And it was early last year. We'd already done a lot in Farcaster, especially on the API side, but we decided to go really all in on kind of the application side and come back to really looking at how do we kind of reinvent the creator economy. And so Moxie was like, a long time in the making when we launched in end of July. And we launched Moxie first, like we incubated it within Farcaster, right? And I would say like, so essentially when we launched, Moxie is like this creator coin. We called them fan tokens at the time, and now it's creator coins. So it's like really what's kind of known for now. When we launched it back at the end of July, the only way you could participate was on Farcaster. And that was on purpose. We really wanted to say, let's, kind of build something meaningful within like a small community first, and then either grow with the Farcaster community or take all the learnings from within that community and like bring it out to kind of a bigger, broader audience. And the plan always was, though, to like, we kind of said, like, we really feel like there's a way to kind of reshape kind of the relationship between creators and their fans, to leverage all this on-chain kind of data and kind of how everything is kind of open and accessible, but yet kind of hard to kind of distinguish the signal from the noise. And how do we take all that and then kind of create like what I always have the saying, like, the end game for crypto is always utility, right? And we always got the like, how do we take all this and kind of build an economy around people actually getting value by owning people's tokens, people opening coins, and there being a real reason why you should own coins. And so, like, long story short, over the last 7 months, the journey we went on is we spent basically from mid-December just really kind of like evolving the Moxie model on Farcaster. We had our ups and downs, as everything does. Like, things were like, some things worked, some things didn't work, kind of reacting to like, okay, Farcaster's not growing as fast as we wish it was. X kind of had a rebound with the election. And then obviously a lot happened with the election in terms of like the crypto kind of like, we kind of came out of winter and became much more of a bull market. And then like a really crazy bull market where like, it's like a meme coin crazy bull market, and then an AI crazy meme bull market, and then a meme coin one again. We can talk more about that. But anyways, we set a strategy in November of last year that we've just been executing on it like step by step. We had basically this like 1-2 punch, we called it, strategy for kind of really blowing out Moxie in 2025. And the first kind of punch was to expand Moxie beyond Farcaster to all of Base and enable anyone on the Base blockchain to participate in the Moxie ecosystem, to create a creator coin, to buy a creator coin, to benefit from owning creator coins, to create one for your X account, your GitHub, whatever it might be. That was like step one, right? Mm-hmm. And we did that right before Christmas, and all of our numbers have just exploded since then, right? So we had about 3,000 creator coins that were created on the Farcaster platform, and we're now at almost 10,000 in like less than 2 months, right? Wow. And so literally, and every single day, Moxie is like number 1 or 2 most used social apps on Base every single day. And so people are like really taking to like the Moxie solution. And then that second punch that we kind of planned out was, we said, you know what, let's create like this massive utility as to why people should own these coins and benefit from owning them. And I'll go in deep on this in this podcast. And that was really about take all the things that we've done our team in the past around crypto and AI. And we said, this is a great opportunity for us to kind of bring that onto Moxie and to create this like new creator agent economy, which is what we're rolling out right now. We're actually on Monday of next week. I'm not sure when you're releasing this, but on Monday, the 24th of February, we're basically rolling out these personal AI agents for every user on Moxie. And they're super powerful, super interesting. We'll get into them, and they make use of all the coins that are created on Moxie and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we're like right in the middle of it right now.
No, I mean, first of all, congrats, because I've seen you on Farcaster and X, and the amount of shipping and all how fast you
this team cooks. There's one thing, like I always say, I might not be the smartest person out there, but no one's going to work harder and no one's going to ship more faster than we do.
Yeah, no, that clearly, I mean, people can really see that. And Jason, so first of all, let's on the creator coin, you mentioned they were called fan tokens. Now they are creator coins, right? So everybody can create a coin. And before we go into the AI part, what is possible to do with these creator coins today? What's what are the use cases? Let's say.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So we built Moxie as an open protocol, and the whole idea was that anyone could create any kind of like utility or kind of functionality or like reason for people, like once you own a creator coin, like things to do with them. And in fact, while we were focused on Farcaster, there was like hundreds of frames that were created by Farcaster members and developers of like, things that like only like fans could do with these creator coins, these fans, these fan tokens. But what we wanted was for lots and lots of like really, really sticky utility to flourish. So like people created utilities such as there was like all this audio spaces that you have to be a fan to participate in, or kind of live streaming video you have to be a fan to participate in, or NFT drops just for fans. And we found like a lot of these things were like great little examples, but none of them really like took off in a major way. And so I think what we did is like the same thing that a lot of other teams in crypto come to that conclusion after time is like, yes, it's an open protocol, but like oftentimes like the core team needs to build some of the most like kind of core utility functions.
Right.
And we decided like, we're not going to like just stand by and like wait for the utility to be built by others. That we said, we know exactly like what utility we really want to kind of see happen here. And so let's go and build this. And so like the utility that we're building with the personal AI agents it's really cool. I mean, it's really like, it's, I use it every day right now for the last couple of weeks, like while we're in alpha, it's like, it's really freaking cool. It's like every Moxie user, if you own a specific new creator coin called Moxie AI, you get to deploy your own personal AI agent. And think about your personal AI agent. It's like a terminal inside a Moxie website, and we'll soon have it in other places as well. So it'll be within, let's say, kind of Frames V2, it'll have its own app and stuff. But think about it's almost like a chat GPT that has specifically around a kind of crypto and AI. So things that your AI agent can do for you, that things that it knows everything about you in terms of your tweets, your casts, your on-chain portfolios, your trades. It has a wallet that you control with it that can make trades on your behalf. Wake up every morning, say, hey, tell me what's going on today on X. It summarizes everyone I follow. It can tell me, what's the buzz on Farcaster. It can tell me what people that I follow are trading, give me insights. It can give me kind of like basically,
and then brain.
Exactly,
brain
right.
Integrated with the blockchain.
Exactly. And what we did is we built this in a way where, so we call it like social alpha. Like we basically built this in a way where the more creator coins you own, the more social alpha you can get, right? So there's a base level of analysis that you can get on anyone. But if you want to get like deeper analysis, so if I want to say, follow all of your kind of on-chain transactions, analyze your portfolio, and kind of like auto trade whenever you buy something, I need to own your coin in order to do so. So now I have a reason why I should buy your coin. And we set all this up in a way where like the whole thing is set up it's like in an open source framework using the ELIZA framework from AI 16Z, that every kind of function of the AI is built as an open source plugin that then is integrated into Moxie. And also gets its own token. And so think about it, it's almost like a tokenized app store that developers can build. We call them skills for these plugins. They can basically, anyone can build a skill. It's as easy as building an ELIZA plugin and then taking 2 more steps to integrate it into Moxie and then connect it to be able to transact with the Moxie wallet of the user. And then every skill gets a token as well on the Moxie platform. So you think about, we have this token launchpad now that there's creator tokens, there's data tokens, there's skill tokens, and everything is on the Moxie platform. And you buy these tokens where you get access to add this skill, to access this data, to get a utility from this creator. The whole thing is self-reinforcing with this Moxie model.
Right. And then, so if I'm a developer and I want to create a skill, so I get rewarded if people use my skill because they have to purchase it. They have to own the token, and I get, let's say, revenue from people purchasing that through Moxie.
Exactly. Yeah.
So many questions. So how do you, because, with app stores and all these, when you start to have plugins, and how do you make sure, like, is there a curation? How do you kind of decide which skills go into the platform and duplicates and like a voting system? How do you make sure the quality is there when it comes to the skills?
It's a great question. So our team is definitely, to start, we're curating the skills to make sure that they are of high quality, but over time, the market will decide. Like, if the app store, early on, like, Apple or Google were like really kind of like more protective as like what apps make in the app store, and then create different algorithms for how apps rise to the top. But, then over time, it like, it just takes on its own life. Right. And ultimately the market will tell, right? Because the thing is, what's different between like the kind of tokenized skill marketplace versus a traditional app store is, in the app store, when you buy an app, you spend your money and it goes to, some of it goes to Google, or some of it goes to Apple, and some of it goes to the developer, and that money's gone forever, right? It's like you paid it, and if you don't like the app, you delete it 30 days later, you still already paid that money. But with a tokenized version, you buy the token, it still has value, right? So you might say, hey, I decided to buy this skill, check it out. There was also, we built in like a freemium model in it as well. You check it out and you don't like it, you just sell that token back to the market and you move on to the next thing. But like you still own that asset. Like, that's the point. It's very
an
different.
asset, right? There is a secondary market, right?
Exactly. And the other difference is that in the app store, the only people who buy the app are the people who use the app, right? But this also allows kind of speculators to also kind of bet on apps as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so not okay. So it's like a new kind of asset. Actually, it's a skill, as you mentioned, and people can actually speculate on a skill. But that's interesting. This is so great. I'm trying to kind of get everything together. But this leads me. I mean, questioning now or wondering. You mentioned people can use these skills and these agents in your website, right? And then
Yes.
what are your thoughts there on scaling these? What other distribution ways to make it easy for people to actually use the agents have you
Yeah.
thought about?
So, we've seen a lot of in this whole first wave of crypto and AI, what we saw was a lot of people that are launching things are more like chatbots and calling them
Mm-hmm.
agents. And a lot of them exist on, X, Twitter, and a lot of them, some of them exist on Farcaster. Most of them are not really AI agents. They're really just like you ask a chatbot a question and it like does an answer for you and back and forth, right? And the agent, it's like really very few of them, the agent's actually able to it's not really agentic. It doesn't actually take actions on your behalf. It's just like reading information from a database and kind of sending it back to you.
Yes.
Some of the newer ones we've seen, there's a couple of them that are out there that are interesting, that are actually able to do things on your behalf. So,
Yeah.
and
Banker's
Banker's a
one.
great example.
Yeah.
Huge fan. I think it's a great kind of POC now the difference is I just don't fundamentally believe that the types of stuff that we're designing for the Moxie personal agents are the things that people want to do in public. So if I'm doing analysis of different people's portfolios, I don't want to do that in front of the whole world on Twitter. I want to do that. So if I am doing trading, if I'm like copying people's trades, if I am looking at market intelligence, that's very personal to me, right? And also, let's say you extend, like, let's say the next skill is like I'm negotiating with KOLs to amplify my content, or I am getting advice on how to like certain tweets or casts that I should engage with to get more exposure, right? I don't want the whole world seeing that, right?
Exactly.
And so I really believe philosophically that like there's a reason why this should be more like a ChatGPT kind of experience. It's private to you, it's personal to you. And that's also why we built the Moxie agents with memory and kind of knowledge about you. So it knows you, it gets it is really a personal agent. And we think it's an important element to it.
And Jason, so I fully agree with this because I am always on ChatGPT and I'm not really using the agents on X, to be honest. I'm not really like chatting with those, but I use ChatGPT and other agents privately all the time, right? Then have you like consider like these agents now that they are becoming very powerful with all these skills? There could be a scenarios where companies and businesses might be interested in using Moxie.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I really believe that this is like, we're creating like kind of the next generation of like the Bloomberg terminal. We're kind of like a, previous like Onchain, like Nansen and like, things that are like more like market intelligence.
Yeah.
It's like a next generation of that, and adding kind of social layers to it in addition to kind of on-chain data. And then we're doing it in an open way where anyone can kind of add on to it and kind of build additional skills, for your plugins. I think this thing is infinitely scalable. I mean, I think this is a massive kind of opportunity.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, Moxie is considered to be the social layer, right? The on-chain social. What are your thoughts there? So, what have you seen? I mean, of course, Farcaster is, I think, one of the key examples, right? What's happening on Farcaster, but in general, in crypto, working on Moxie, what are your thoughts on the growth? How fast is the social component in crypto growing from your experience over the last 6 months working on
Yeah, I
Moxie?
mean, I think, look, I'm a huge fan of Farcaster. I love being on Farcaster. I love the Farcaster community. Unfortunately, Farcaster hasn't grown as masses as I think, Dan and Varun and a lot of us would like. And I think, in my opinion, the reason why is that it still kind of feels like a decentralized version of Twitter. And there needs to be more of a reason why, besides just the fact that it's decentralized, that people would use it. And it's not just like the fact that it's, let's say, a home to people who are really enthusiastic about crypto or the Ethereum community or base. There needs to be like more. And look, the US election was a very big anti-Farcaster event, right? And the reason I say that is that I think there was an opportunity, like let's say 6 months ago or 9 months ago, where Farcaster could have had a trajectory where, like, if crypto broke out, that it could have been like that Farcaster was a place where it broke out. And I think what happened is Elon won the election, right? I mean, you see, he's basically running the government now, right? And Elon won the election, so crypto, Twitter's not going anywhere, and crypto also won the election. And those two things happen together. And so crypto Twitter itself is very alive. Frankly, also like the Solana meme coin wave, Twitter is still the major place where all that, is talked about. So I've long said that like the place for Farcaster to win is not about necessarily looking or feeling like another X. It's more about being a place where on-chain applications thrive and get distribution and connect with end users. But I think they're still figuring out how to make that happen. Exactly. I think, frames v2 are a good kind of direction, but it still hasn't entirely clicked yet for how it's going to, like how Farcaster is like let's say like that app store distribution, right? And like the way that we look at it is actually, I'll say like, to me, like the most interesting social network on chain, like in the last year or so, is actually like things like Interface. Like showed like, okay, the thing that people care the most about is like trades. And especially so we looked at, okay, how do we look at where that market's going and like where the overall market is going, and said, okay, Interface is fine if everyone's winning, but when the volume's really high, it's very hard to tell the signal versus the noise. And, and so we said, okay, well, so if an AI agent can help you kind of get signal, if an AI agent can help you figure out, okay, I don't need to know everything everyone's doing. I just need to know what these people I care about are doing. And also don't let me miss the trade, like take action for me while I'm sleeping, whatever it might be, like, make sure, like, that's where we said, okay, here's how agents can factor into this. So I like to think that like social in my mind is not necessarily, a posting content network. Social in my mind is getting, signals from the people that is like social alpha, as I call it, getting signals from the people that you care the most about. And I think that AI is going to make this so much more meaningful. And so I'd like to say we're building SoFAI what's next, right? And SoFAI say social, finance and AI, right? So FAI, right? I'd like to think like we're trying to, I say like skate where the puck is going versus where it is today. Like really see like, okay, how do we take this convergence of crypto and AI and on-chain and social, and to kind of build something that's really useful for people for where the world's going to be 3, 6, 12, 24 months from now.
Right. No, I fully agree. I really like your description or summary. I use Interface a lot, but then again, as you said, when things are in a spot, I am not so interested, right? I'm like, okay, I'm not caring that much. But if there was an AI that helped me during those times, and as you said, when I'm sleeping, that makes sense. And I also like the description of social, not just chatting, right? Not just messaging, right? SoFAI is actually seeing what people are doing on chain. And this could be NFTs, this could be all kinds of things, right? So very, very interesting.
And I also think it's like, what we're also trying to lean into is that I think like frames v2 are interesting, but I think like the next app store is being built more around like AI plugins than it is around kind of, web views. I think so we're building kind of a new generation app store around, something that is, the new technology versus the older technology.
Yeah, I think basically everything will have AI, right? Everything will be integrated in a way or another with AI. I wonder if these categories, these segments in crypto, but also in the world that are kind of separating AI, I think we are not far away from just that be the normal, right? That every app, everything we do is just AI. It has AI somehow. And I think that will be a big switch into how we segment things, right? And what are your thoughts, Jason, on the Coinbase wallet and Farcaster integration? Do you think that how are you approaching that from a Moxie perspective? Do you think of wallets as a distribution mechanism for Moxie, for example, and agents and the skills you described?
Yeah, I mean, look, ultimately, I've always said we want to meet people wherever they are. And if people are in Coinbase wallet, that's an opportunity for us to meet them, via a frame through Farcaster or through content on Farcaster. If people are using Farcaster and they have a Farcaster wallet, it's a place time to meet them there as well. Our plan is to take the Moxie AI agents, allow people to access them wherever they want to access them. Frames v2 should give us a nice kind of surface area for that, but ultimately users will decide where they want to access it. I think if the product is really, really good, people will use it in the best, user interface possible. I think, like ChatGPT as an example is like, how many people have ChatGPT, kind of app on their phone now, or DeepSeek on their phone now, or just open up a web browser because it just works, right? And that's how we want people's perception of Moxie to be, is that, I think primary is you're going to use a Moxie app or you can use a Moxie website, but you can also use it in Frame if you want. You could, you could text it on Telegram if you want. If anywhere you want to, we want to be able to access it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. In the terms of, X, when you launch on X, did you see a big kind of input of new users that weren't using Moxie before from the Farcaster?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I mentioned that we went from 3,100 fan tokens, now called creator coins, when we were on Farcaster, to nearly 10,000 today. And that's really just from opening it up to everyone and making it, more awareness on X. And, I think the thing with, at this point, I feel like as anyone who is in kind of crypto, Ethereum based community who wants to be on Farcaster is already. Like, they definitely heard about it and they made a decision whether they want to try it or not. And there's just a lot more people in other places, and we want to reach them wherever they are, as I said. Yeah.
Right.
And so we created an agent actually, 2 months ago. First, like Moxie agent was just like you could basically on Twitter say, create a fan token for me, a creator coin, on Twitter, and it just launched it for you right there. And just making it really easy for the user to participate wherever they are.
Something I really like about the Moxie, I remember the auctions, right? This kind of mechanism you design to make auctions more fair. Probably, I mean, you have seen the conversations around meme coins. There is a lot about discussion about Solana specifically, right? The ecosystem, insider trading, and then also the snipers. And I believe that the mechanism you designed was really, really robust. And I was wondering, do you see that mechanism with the fair auctions where they are timed for a period of time, right? And people can bid. Do you think that could scale to the meme coin or to the typical launchers? Do you see pros and cons of that mechanism? Maybe you can describe it a bit, the bid system you put in place for Moxie, because I think it's very interesting.
The auction system for Moxie has worked really well. It enables, rather than this basically, you're trying to avoid people just like, kind of front running kind of a token launch, or, everyone kind of like running up the price. And so the auction, the intent is that for 24 hours, the way we do our auctions, we use the Gnosis batch contract. And basically for that 24 hours, everyone puts in their bids, and rather than, people buying at different prices, or until the very beginning, which runs up the price, instead what it does is everyone gets it at the same clearing price based on that auction, and then it goes out to the open market. It's served us really well so far. I think you will see others, try and experimenting with models like that. I saw Kyle Samani from Multicoin chatting about it a couple of days ago, saying, hey, why aren't there more like kind of auction models for meme coins? I'm like, yeah, well, we've been trying this for, doing this for 6 months now. And like, it's good to see. Look, I think the meme coin craze of the last, kind of, let's say, this cycle.
1 year, probably 6 months, 1 year.
I think we kind of like, if I describe like the last year, it was like pump.fun, virtuals, back to pump.fun. And I think I think what happened there was you had like pump.fun was like, okay, it's so easy to launch a meme coin. Like it's like gold rush of like, kind of meme coins. And then you had something like virtuals come around where like, okay, well, maybe there's some utility to this thing. Like the end game for crypto was always utility, wasn't it? And so, but then what virtuals very quickly became was like almost like a pump.fun for agents, that it was like, okay, it doesn't matter if these things have utility. Let's just speculate on them. Basically, people were playing like VC with virtual launches, and 99% of them had no utility. And then you had like obviously the Black Swan event, the Trump, and now most recently Libra, where it's like people are like saying, okay, yeah, we can just make a quick buck just like running up kind of meme coins. I think the pendulum still will shift back to AI and to things that have utility. And I actually think that the Moxie model, and like first of all, I own virtuals. I'm a fan of virtuals. I think what they've done is great. I think the Moxie model is actually just a smarter model. And the difference is like with virtuals, the model is that everyone launches an agent, and that agent gets a token. And I just don't think the world needs 10,000, 20,000, hundreds of thousands of different agents, especially like little agents that are kind of Twitter bots. And the Moxie model is, instead of launching an agent, you're launching essentially just a plugin into agents. So it's almost like, if you think about the Apple analogy, so instead of everyone launching their own app their own kind of iPhone, right? Instead, you're launching an app for the App Store, right? Which is which the Moxie model is, right? Which is basically, and I think it just scales a lot more. So we're saying that Moxie team has built, it's actually more like Android. Like we have we have an Android device, think about it almost like we have an open source OS that anyone can build kind of apps for. We built kind of this core kind of skills, core apps that are there from day one. And then anyone using this open source technology can build and tokenize and launch more apps into the App Store. I think it's a lot more scalable than saying, okay, everyone's going to launch their own Android.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and this is something, I mean, I agree because for me, I don't want to be using, as you said, 10, 15, 20 agents. I just want to have my own agent that is customized for my needs, right? In my case, I might need some help posting on X and Farcaster. I might need some help editing videos, market research on the different blockchains, finding the latest trends. But I don't need 20 agents that each has a specific thing that I like.
Right.
That
you see
together,
one agent that cuts across all of those. Really is. Yeah, exactly. And so that's why it's an agent that cuts across all the plugins you need rather than an agent that cuts across all these agents you need. It's a little different kind of philosophy. And I think I also think that like ChatGPT is an awesome product. I use it every day myself. But it's a horizontal, it's like a horizontal product, not a vertical product. What I mean by that is like, it does a lot of things very well, but vertical product does like one thing exceptionally well, right? And I think we're going to see more and more of this like verticalization of AI, which so Moxie is like, if you really care about kind of on-chain, and you live in this like crypto world, you're going to use like a Moxie AI because we get that part better than like ChatGPT can do as being kind of something, something to everyone. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. What about the models, the LLMs? So it's mostly like you are using like a default model, you update it, people can choose. What are you using in the
way we built it is that whoever writes the plugin, whoever writes the skill decides which engine underneath. And so in fact, on our core, we have 6 skills that are there at the launch for the Moxie agents. And we're using on some of the skills, we're using OpenAI, and some of the skills we're using Anthropic. So even just in the skills that we've launched, it doesn't matter. The engine underneath it can be swapped out depending on which one you want. It's really how you're kind of building the skill and the plugin on top of the
And have you considered Venice AI at all, Jason? Because I know they have, it's a model, an AI model, but they have some integrations, like you can pay for services with their token, right? It's more private. Have you researched at all, consider it in any
we've researched it. We actually have a conversation that we're starting with the Venice team. They expressed interest in talking with us. We're not there yet, like we're in the early days with it, but we will be chatting with them. Voorhees reached out via a mutual friend, and we're gonna have a chat. Yeah,
nice. Yeah, because they are also on chain, right? So there might be some synergies there between products, right, that make things better in general for everyone. I'm just curious on how Beneath AI evolves as well.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think Venice will need to be, right now Venice feels like a more crypto native ChatGPT, but doesn't necessarily yet feel to me more kind of like personalized or more specific to the user. It feels more like it's like a crypto wrapper on top of it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is with a token, that you can use a token to pay for the services, right? So I wonder what's the vision long term, but ideally it should help builders, right? On-chain builders to use that kind of model. That's what they are trying to do, I guess. No, that's very exciting. Jason, I had a question that I didn't get to ask you the other time we chat, and I saw Farcaster cast, you mentioned your previous company, Fab, which I was curious because you mentioned people were asking you, hey, what happened with Fab? And you said that, it was growing really fast. I was reading the news, and then Amazon crushed you, and
absolutely
I was
devastating. Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that experience? How did that go? Because Fab, I have a friend that used Fab a lot, and he was asking me about it. So I'm just curious what happened there.
Yeah. So in 2010. I started a company called Fab, and Fab was a design marketplace. Really, it was an incredible product. We enabled independent designers to sell their products directly to consumers through our marketplace. Previously, the designers had to sell through like major retailers, and it was design products ranging from furniture to tabletop to household items to kitschy stuff like t-shirts and posters, and we did like print on demand posters and all sorts of stuff. And when we launched Fab, it had like this quirky kind of mood to it. We really focused on like culture and community before like it was like the thing to do. And it's like it's so common these days, right? And so like there was like a Fab way of life, and kind of people really bought into it. It was really like we had the zeitgeist for a minute. At one point, we were the fastest growing company on the planet. We went to 15 million users in like 6 months. Like everyone was using Fab. Like we really just crushed it on like Facebook back in the day. Like we had like this thing called the inspiration board, which like people, was almost like Pinterest before Pinterest. And in the first year of Fab, we did $115 million in sales in the first year. And it was just like rocket ship. And then in the second year, we actually did 125 million in sales. And our goal was to do 250. We wanted to double it, but we did. And then Amazon absolutely destroyed us. I mean, it was the most demoralizing, humbling thing ever. But the short way to think about it is when we started Fab, we were curating all these designers, and like we would find like these unknown independent designers, and we'd kind of give them a platform. And as we started Fab, it took about 45 days on average from the time that a designer's product appeared on Fab before it appeared on Amazon. And Amazon team just kind of watched our first couple of years of meteoric growth. By year 3, 48 hours from the time that the designer was on Fab, that like the product was in Amazon's warehouses with free shipping, free returns, and it's like, oh man, like it was just so hard to keep up with that. Yeah, it was tough, very humbling. Like at one point, Fab was a unicorn, and then essentially we sold the Fab IP off for like very, very little. We did have a spin-out company out of Fab called Hem.com, which was very successful. We sold Hem in 2016. It was like Hem was like a private label furniture design company we built inside of Fab. The whole idea was like, well, Amazon can't copy the products that we build ourselves.
Yeah.
And so we spun that out as its own company, and we sold that. And Hem has actually done really well. It's actually since then been sold twice more times. And it also provided a lot of the furniture to WeWork over the years. A lot of Hem products, you can see at every WeWork around the world until WeWork had its own issues. But I actually I helped teach a class at Harvard Business School on the Fab experience, and it was quite humbling. Yeah.
So I was wondering if you see similarities, Jason, not necessarily with Moxie, but with what's happening with crypto, on-chain, everything that's happening, new apps, new applications, people doing more things on chain, transacting more with the different L2s between blockchains. Do you think a scenario where this example, like Amazon crushing smaller competitors, have you considered that in crypto? How will that look like? Like,
I haven't really thought about that in crypto. I think, crypto, you have like, I think you have like different, like, let's say like nucleuses of like, kind of almost like solar systems. Like you have the base kind of solar system, you have the Solana solar system. Base is part of the broader kind of like Ethereum solar system. And I see like the comments, like, about, some people are very tribal about it. Like it's like, well, one must win and the others must lose. I don't think it really is that case. I think just like there is, there's Apple and there's Google and there's also Meta and there's also OpenAI and there's also that all these things, that at certain size, they all can coexist. I think that will continue to be the case. And I don't really think about those size companies crushing, smaller ones. I think more practical is on, let's say, like the Farcaster developer calls every week or every other week. And I think there's always a concern by kind of Farcaster developers, like I'm going to build something and the Farcaster team's going to copy it or kind of, build it themselves, which is a reasonable concern. But I also think that's like, yeah, but also Farcaster itself is still quite small in the scheme of things, and like they have to do whatever it takes for them to kind of grow, and I think that at a certain point they have to always make decisions as to should this product be in house or be kind of third party, and that's a balance of it. But so I don't think it's really like a genuine a real concern. And like I think more it's like if you're a developer, think like, right, you could build something, and like when you build, if it doesn't take off on its own, could very well get absorbed into something else as a feature. And that's just, it's just practicality, facts of life, the way things work sometimes.
Sense. Yeah, no, makes a lot of sense. Jason, it's been a pleasure. Can you remind us the launch date for the agents? When can people first start building skills and then try the agents?
Yeah, so we're going to launch the agents on no later than the 25th of February, which is recording this on the 18th. So it's next week, Tuesday. I think we'll launch on the 24th, Monday. We'll see.
24th Monday. Okay.
And the agents are launching in the first version with 6 different skills that the Moxie team has built. Excuse me. And then we're doing a workshop for developers and develop already. And then developers will be able to add additional skills within a couple weeks of the first launch.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes with the
Awesome.
links so people can tune into the workshop. And it's been a pleasure, Jason. I hope we can do this again and see the numbers from Moxie keeping rising in the ranks. Keep rising.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Cheers.